That's a lot of numbers. That's a lot of features. That's a lot of words. And the fact that I did that in one take, like, I need some kudos on that.
This episode is made possible by OIT VoIP. Find your best-in-class revenue generation for MSPs all over the world. Learn more via the link in the show notes.
Good morning and welcome to the December 12th episode of MSP Dispatch, your source for news, community events, and commentary in the MSP channel. My name is Tony Francisco, and I am joined today by my co-host, Mr. Josh Hohbein. Josh, how are you doing today? The last time I saw you on the last episode, major anxiety attacks from NTLM attacks that you don't have to be really present for or do anything, but they just take all your ashes. Today, we're not going to do that, because we're going to talk about peaceful things.
Yeah, it's National Gingerbread House Day. So today we're going to go through a tutorial on how to build a gingerbread house. And then to go along with the gingerbread house, it's also National Ambrosia Salad Day. Hint, it's not a salad at all. It's a Midwest salad. It's pretty tasty, but it's not healthy. Unless you have news articles to get into. I mean, I'm ready to start building the gingerbread houses.
I do. Oh. Let's get into the news. In my first story, the U.S. House set to vote to provide $3 billion to remove Chinese telecom equipment. In a story from Reuters.com. The U.S. House is set to vote on a defense bill providing over $3 billion U.S. to help telecom companies remove Chinese-made equipment, particularly from Huawei and ZTE. The Federal Communication Commission, FCC, has estimated that the full cost to be nearly $5 billion, with previous funding falling short. The FCC chair, Jessica Rosenworcel, emphasized the urgent need for additional funding, warning that without them, rural networks may face shutdowns, potentially impacting services like 911. The bill also includes measures to assess China's effort to evade U.S. regulations and evaluate its biotechnology capabilities. How much worse can things get? I feel like we are constantly being attacked at all sides, in all degrees of those sides. And it's not an initial tactical attack. It's long-term strategy that we're also working to defend against. Am I being paranoid here?
No, absolutely not. I mean, the government just told us last week to make sure that we're using end-to-end encrypted communications because they have no idea how long these threat actors have been inside these telecom networks. This isn't as easy as just ripping and replacing, because if all of a sudden you just rip this equipment out without a plan, now you have networks that you potentially have 911 impacts or other critical services that they need. The threat actors that have been identified, I think they believe them to be Chinese at this point. So I think that's the next logical step, is we need to remove that equipment.
In the event of removing a system, it's not the system that you need to worry about anymore. It's everything that system touched. So what I think that is happening is I think they're going to do, in some capacity, a phased approach to completely remove the entire the network as a whole, do an update, sanitize the data, and then have the data, let's say, consumed by very, very specific air-gapped appliances that have been certified. Until then, I think there's some really cool updates to some AI tools. Why don't you jump on that?
Meta launches open source Llama 3.3, shrinking powerful bigger model into smaller size. This article comes to us from VentureBeat. Meta has unveiled Llama 3.3, a smaller yet highly efficient multilingual AI model with 70 billion parameters. It offers performance comparable to its larger predecessor, Llama 3.1-405B, but with significantly reduced computational requirements, making it more cost-effective and accessible. Llama 3.3 excels in multilingual tasks, achieving 91.1% accuracy in reasoning benchmarks and supporting languages like German, Spanish, and Hindi. Trained on 15 trillion tokens and fine-tuned with 25 million examples, Llama 3.3 features a 128K token context window, enhanced interference scalability, and energy-efficient development for net zero emissions. Offered under an open source license, Llama 3.3 is available on multiple platforms, providing advanced tools for safe and responsible deployment across various applications. That's a lot of numbers. That's a lot of features. That's a lot of words. And the fact that I did that in one take, like, I need some kudos on that. I personally haven't tried this at all, but I know that Meta seems to be kind of raising the bar when it comes to making AI more efficient and more scalable. That takes hardware, and not only hardware, that takes power. So when we have Meta that's able to make these more efficient, then it's less strain on the resources required to power it. I mean, I think that's overall a good thing, but I'm going to pass it over to you.
So you mentioned the computing, which relates to the chip itself, which is going to require semiconductors. In addition to that, let's talk about the data centers that are included in that. Let's talk about the backup power in those data centers in the event of a power outage. There's a whole bunch of stuff that can happen as peripheral impact to this one thing that could ironically be diluted by having a more effective and efficient way of running AI code. But I would love the feedback from the industry. Who is using AI tools and which tools are you using and what are you using it for? Get involved in the Discord server, get involved with others in the community. And there's other ways to stay involved with the community as well. Josh, why don't you cover that one?
Absolutely. You can head on down to a event going on right now. We have the MSP Expo, which is an in-person event happening in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, until December 13th. We have the Automation Edge, how MSPs can differentiate in 2025, presented by Roost, which is a virtual event happening on Thursday, December 17th at 2 p.m. Eastern. And then we have how to use AI in your MSP to get more leads and profits while eliminating up to 75% of mundane tickets and tasks, presented by Technology Marketing Toolkit, a virtual event happening Thursday, December 19th at 11 a.m. Eastern. I'll give you a freebie. Just last night, my daughter drew all of like a bunch of figures on paper, and she wanted to show me her drawings. And then it was time for a bedtime story, and I said, "You know what? Let's just use Gemini to make a bedtime story." So together, we made a 3-chapter bedtime story, and now she's super excited and wants to continue on.
That is awesome. That was a black belt level move. Good job on that. So let's kind of wrap it up. Everyone stay involved in the Discord server. Get involved in the community. You heard about the live events and the virtual events. And if anything, stay on top of these podcasts. Learn what's happening in the industry at your particular area of expertise, as well as a global area. And you can pass these videos or subjects, go Google the articles and pass them to your customers and tell them that you're on top of this. This is just education through exposure, nothing more, nothing less. So to everyone out there, stay involved. Please stay educated, and if anything, please be safe. See you all later.
If you found this episode eye-opening, catch more MSP Dispatch at 10 a.m. throughout the week. Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
This has been a broadcast of the MSP Media Network.